the deal. Successfully complete the mission, you get 10 years off your sentence. You fail to follow my orders in any way, and I detonate the explosive device in the base of your skull.
So this is the famous Suicide Squad.
Num num.
Any questions?
And
Yes, that is your hand. Very good.
Yo, this is Big Lou. Just got out of the theaters watching the Suicide Squad. I tell you what, it was very anticipated for me. Couldn't wait for it to come out. Theaters opening up. You know, when they released it in the theaters and on HBO Max. But why should I sit in front of a TV screen when I can hit the big theater and watch it on the screen with my popcorn and my goobers, right? So let me tell you, Suicide Squad has nothing on the Suicide Squad. James Gunn came out and he delivered, just like he always does. You know, you give the director reign to do what he needs to do with characters, and you get a movie like this. Now, don't get me wrong. The first Suicide Squad movie by Ayers, it was okay. All right, I like the characters. What I didn't like was the storyline. You know, here they are, they've been put together to go take care of the Enchantress. I think you could have found a more worthy villain for them to take on in that first, you know, that first movie, right? But you know, with this version, James Gunn, I mean, he put it together. You know, he brought back some favorites. You know, you got Viola Davis again. She's back as Amanda Waller. You know, Rick Flag is back. Harley Quinn is back. Margot Robbie, of course. You know, but the whole premise of this one, this is very spoiler heavy, but the premise of this one here, you know, Task Force X is put together to go to the country of Corto Maltese because there is something there of alien origin that they need to go take care of, right? So in the beginning of the movie, we see, you know, Amanda go reach out to Idris Elba as you know, Bloodsport, and to put together a team to go over there, but the characters that she's picking out for his team, you know, a little questionable. Besides Harley, you got Polka-Dot Man, who does what he does, is throw polka dots, but they seem like they're polka dots that absorb things. They're like acidy. You have King Shark, which I loved, especially, you know, Sylvester Stallone's take on him. You have the Ratcatcher 2, Daniela Melchior. I love her. Oh my goodness, Ratcatcher 2, gorgeous. I love the character. John Cena as the Peacemaker. You know, I just saw F9 with John Cena in it. You know, see, that dude, he has unbelievable guns. His freaking arms are massive. And when you see him in character in both of them, you know, in F9 and as Peacemaker, his arms, holy cow, his biceps as big as my head. You know, then you have Javelin. You have Pete Davidson as Blackguard. I thought it was funny. That was funny. The little comic relief there, you know. You had the Weasel. All right, you had the Weasel, and then you had Michael Rooker, who we know as Yondu, was there as Savant, you know. So this team's put together to go to Corto Maltese. They get there, they find out that, you know, Blackguard sold them out. So you have the whole Corto Maltese army there to greet them, and, you know, characters are dying off. You know, Javelin, Captain Boomerang's gone. Weasel's dead, Savant's dead, you know, but yet we find out that, you know, Amanda Waller, she ain't stupid. She put together, this was like a decoy team. She put together another team, led by, you know, another team to go ahead and infiltrate the island from another side. which was cool. You know, that was cool. You know, and that was Idris Elba's team there. You know, the other team, the decoy team, was led by Rick Flag. You know, so they make it there. They have no resistance. So they're, you know, told to go ahead on point, go to the mission. You know, go to the city, find Jötunheim. Sounds like something out of Thor. You know, that's where this alienish thing is, something is being held. That's their mission. But they get diverted a little bit because, you know, Rick Flag was captured, and then we find out later that Harley Quinn was captured. You know, so they have to divert to go, you know, which pisses off Idris because, you know, Bloodsport, because, you know, he didn't know there was another team there. But I like this because here Harley has a moment, because we see that who is he? The president of Corto Maltese has Harley brought to him and wants to have a romantic, you know, thing with her, and wants to marry her, and he wants to give her the world. You know, but what happens? It surprised the hell out of me. She shoots him. She kills him. You know, it's almost like, you know, is she over by Joker? Don't know. You know, was he a little too much? She said there were some red flags about this whole thing. That's all right. But this led into an awesome scene. Yeah, well, you know, she gets captured, of course, and she gets tortured. You know, then you got this general there who's torturing her. So the president's dead. This general takes over, becomes new president. This general looked like he was a freaking 9-star general. I mean, because all the things on his epaulet, I counted, I think, at least 9 on each one, and then he had them all over his hat. So he was some type of general. So they were torturing her with this, like, I don't know, it was a cattle prodder or something you'd seen out of Handmaid's Tales, you know. But yet general leaves, the torturer turns around, starts sending some emojis and starts sending text. Boy, I tell you, her thighs, her legs, man, she snapped that dude's neck, picked him up right off the ground. You know, so kills him. And then, to me, this is one of the best scenes. I mean, she had this action sequence for her. Harley Quinn turned, well, she was already badass, but was even badassier, you know, if that's a word. You know, I mean, she was kicking ass left and right. This was her moment. You know, but at the same time, you have the other team led by Bloodsport. They put together, and Flag, they put together this plan to go capture her. She's getting ready to hop in a freaking taxi, sees them, it catches up with them. Hey, what you doing? They're looking at her like, oh, we're gonna go see you. And then Flag throws in there, well, we had a good plan. Some good moments, I tell you. John Cena and Idris Elba, I like how they played off each other. Their characters were awesome. Gunn knew what he was doing when we put them together. You know, Ratcatcher, she has her rat Sebastian, cute little guy. We find out Bloodsport he's scared of rats for some reason, and I can't remember, you know, if they even discussed why he has such an aversion to, you know, to rats, you know. But at the end, you know, him and Sebastian kind of make up, and you know, he kind of gets over his scariness, you know. But you know, they rescue Harley, they rescue Flag. Now they head over to Jötunheim to find out what the hell's going on. They find out, if you haven't guessed it by now, because I think we've had some hints leading up to this, you know, in the past year or so, Starro, the Conqueror, was the thing that Amanda wanted to hide, because we find out as we get there that they've been experimenting, because you got the Thinker there, which I loved. You had Peter Capaldi playing the Thinker. I like that. But we find out that they're doing experiments on the people of Corto Maltese, but dun dun dun, it's at the behest of the American government. Is actually the Americans who are running these tests here on the Corto Maltese people. You know, and I guess that's the whole thing why the general and the president like that, because they, you know, now they want to, you know, flex their muscle to the Americans, say nah, no more, you know. But we find out, yes, they're doing this, but when they find this out, you know, Bloodsport, wants to take, not Bloodsport, Flag, excuse me, wants to take the hard drive with all his data and release it, let everybody know, because, he served his government, just for them to do this, because they're experimenting on men, women, and children, but we find out again, Amanda Waller, she knows what she's doing. She planted Peacemaker there to make sure nothing got out of there. All right. So now we have Peacemaker and Flag fighting. Guess what? Flag dies. It's a shame. I hope he comes back somehow, but Peacemaker stabs him, kills him, Ratcatcher sees this. She gets a hold of the hard drive, and then now we have Peacemaker chasing after her and almost getting ready to kill her, because after all of this, they have planted bombs throughout this complex. They're bringing it down. Bloodsport comes down, drops it on the party through the ceiling, of course. Him and Peacemaker have a showdown. Who can shoot first? Because of course Bloodsport didn't like what he was doing to Ratcatcher too. So the smaller bullet won, as he said. They fired. He got Cena in the neck. So here we have Cena. Peacemaker's dead again. So we think. But after all this, Starro's on the loose. Getting ready to take over this city and everything. My boy Polka-Dot Man, he comes, he has this thing with mom, but now he decides, he becomes a hero now. He does this part, but he gets squashed by one of Starro's tentacles. But you know what, Starro, I liked seeing Starro the Conqueror. I like seeing him in all his glory there. But to me, and I don't know, to you, didn't he look like a freaking starfish-shaped Pillsbury Dome Man, like the one from Ghostbusters? I don't know, man. But anyway, then Starro's, raising his armpits, and you got all these little, starfish coming out there and latching on to people and stuff, so he's taking over things. So you got this crew, what's left over of Task Force X, Amanda Waller tells them, hey, not our problem no more, come on home. But you know what? Bloodsport at first gets ready to walk off, and then he says, nah, I can't do it. Fuck it, I can't do this. I can't lead these people. Because Ratcatcher, she's very emotional. But she said, I knew you had it in you. I knew you had it in you. So they go, what's left of Task Force X goes to take on Starro. But, this is where Polka-Dot Man dies. But of course, as they're getting their ass whooped, Ratcatcher summons her rat buddies. They help out. Then you have Harley with javelin, and she figures out, so she says, what she's supposed to do with it. She enters Starro's eye. Oh, and through all this, you have King Shark. Bloodsport told him to, go eat. So he's eating Starro and everything, while the rats are, eating them. And then Harley's in the eye, the rats are in the eye. They take down Starro, and that's it. That's it. So, but through all of this, Ratcatcher gave, Bloodsport the hard drive. He was smart with it. He knew what he was doing with it. I have to tell you, Amanda Waller's team, who's there to help her in the beginning, seemed like they were kind of dicks. All right. But in the end, they had kind of like a sort of conscience, because, one, they didn't like it that she was holding, killing Bloodsport's daughter unless he helped her. One, they didn't like that. And two, you had all these people here, who Starro was taking over, and they didn't like that too. So what happens? One of her team members clocks her upside the head, knocks her out. They take over. They start helping her. They start helping Team X to take down Starro. You know what I'm saying? So through all of this and everything, Bloodsport does what Bloodsport does. He used that hard drive to his benefit and the whole team's benefit. He says, you know, I uploaded all this stuff. If you blow me, this is getting out in the world, you're done. So, hey, let us go. Don't come with us. Don't fuck with us. So, you know what? Bloodsport, you know, you gotta get out of jail free ticket for Task Force X. So hopefully, you know, they'll be on their way and we'll see them get together, hopefully, in another take on the Suicide Squad. But in all this, again, you know, in all this, we find, you know, they have some big name characters here. We find out who Taika Waititi's character is, you know, because remember, they kind of mentioned this, where he's going to play a character, but they never said who it was. We found out that, you know, he played the original Ratcatcher, or Ratcatcher 2's dad, which was cool. I like that. You know, there are, again, some spoilers. There are, you know, there is a mid-credit and a post-credit scene. So the Weasel, who we thought was dead and had drowned after, you know, after Savant saved it, you know, wasn't dead. He woke up and then he ran off into the jungle there. So we'll you know, maybe down the road we'll see him, because remember in the comics he played a big pain in the ass with Firestorm, right? So then also at the end we see two of Amanda Waller's cronies there in the hospital, and we see that John Cena, the Peacemaker, is laying in a hospital bed. They said they had found him, he was still alive, and they're saving him to save the world. So, which makes sense, because, you know, come January 2022 on HBO Max, we're going to have a show, you know, we're going to have the Peacemaker show, which is going to be, which is written by James Gunn, and he's going to be directing some of the episodes as well. So all in all, again, like I said in the beginning, you know, watch all these reviews, but don't let them decide for you whether you're going to go see the movie. You know, get your butt in gear and go to the movie and watch it. You know, all right, if you watch it on HBO Max, that's one thing. Go watch it on the big screen too if you get a chance. You know, I tell you, this is one movie that I'm going to see it again. You know, I'm going to see it again. Again, this version, I enjoyed very much. I enjoyed the interactions and the dialogue. The action was off the cuff. The action was, or is, what James Gunn does best. All right? That's point blank. That's what he does best. And that's what he did with this version here. You know, it's not a sequel to the other one. It's not a continuation. This is the Suicide Squad, the James Gunn version. All right? I enjoyed it. I'm glad that I can give you my take on it. That's why I'm doing it right here, sitting in my car, because I couldn't wait to get it out. I wanted to do it as soon as possible. Hey, if you like my review, you know, show me some love there. You know, subscribe to my channel. You know, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Drop me a couple of comments. Tell me what, you know, tell me what your thoughts on it. Tell me what you want to, you know, discuss. You want to talk more about it. All right. But let me know what's going on. You know, again, this is my take, my review on the Suicide Squad. And this is Big Lou. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. And see you soon. Peace. All right.